Bounty Hunters versus S.A.D.B.O.I.S. Kbot, I hear you have the lore.
I have the lore to catch you all up to speed, which most of you watching probably know this, but it was even way back in the day where the trio abusers were doing their trio abusing. It was Vaugh, Bells, and YouAlreadyLose doing their thing in solo queue. Nobody could beat them. So a bounty was put on their heads. That bounty, like an actual cash buddy, was on the line for whoever could actually hand them their first loss on Eastern servers. That money was claimed by the aptly named bounty hunters of Kienoob, Gravity, and Goomy. That is the start, and that is the birth of this Western Giant team, who has continued to go on to dominate most of the Western server. And we have been time and time again hoping that these two teams would go off and clash against one another. It didn't happen in the Omega Strikers Pro League Invitational a few weeks ago, which we were all expecting it to happen. And now it's finally happening on central servers. That is the critical piece of information here. Theoretically, another team has a home field advantage, but Kienoob is the one that probably does out of anyone here because he's the one playing on 20 ping from Mexico. So actually, given that, ping might, and home field advantage might still be to the bounty hunters. It might still feel like a Western match, but nonetheless, this one should be an exciting one, of course. These two teams have looked undefeatable in their respective regions, and now it all comes down to this for whether or not the S.A.D.B.O.I.S can go 7 Primetime Tuesdays in a row, back to back to back to back to back to back to back, or if they'll get interrupted at that last one.
If anyone can do it, it is the bounty hunters. And there's a reason that they were the ones to claim that bounty in the first place. They have looked like the utter peak of Omega Strikers Western League gameplay. Like in the NASL, in the Pro League, everywhere. They have looked unstoppable. And obviously, if there's anyone that can do it, it is the combination of Vaugh and Bells and Caleb. But really, this is going to be so intense because these players have known one another for so long. They've known that this was coming.
There's just so many of the small little intricacies here. First, it is worth noting, of course, that Bounty Hunters has changed their roster slightly. Gravity is stepping away from the game for a little while, competing in a high-level environment. And so they've instead brought in Snake, who actually right now in this meta looks pretty darn good for himself, oftentimes opting for that Zentaro. That allows Kienoob to go back over to the midfielder that he used to be, instead of moving over for Gravity, playing used to be mostly the Juno, then obviously went into multiple other things. So that's interesting. The other thing too is after the Bounty Hunters won their Nassau West finals this past weekend, it was the S.A.D.B.O.I.S typing in chat about Goomy being the king of Disneyland. And that has been an ongoing bit for the past few days. They're looking to settle the score here as we head to our game 1 on Demon Days.
Well, let's hope there's no Mickey Mouse in this set. Demon Days is going to be very, very fun. It's going to be a bloodbath. I'm sure that the current meta, like Saya was talking about earlier, a lot of damage is going to be the key here. And that's why Zentaro and Drakkar are taken off the board. Vaugh known for that Drakkar for a long, long time.
I am not surprised to see the Zentaro taken away. Bells I imagine, feels much less confident on the Zentaro compared to the Juliet or the Rasmus, but hang on that thought for just a moment, because it's Vaugh picking up the Rasmus, Bells going over to the X, and Caleb on the Vice. Caleb's been playing this all day, hasn't convinced me quite yet. But this is still a pretty heavy damage composition out of the S.A.D.B.O.I.S, despite it being a completely different look from them entirely. We'll just have to wait and see how this goes. On the other side of the pitch, Kienoob on the IME, and now we see the Awakening's quick strikes and missile propulsion both out.
Oh, YouAlreadyLose taking the first barrier quite early. Bells is looking like he's an X stuck between a bunch of other letters. I can't believe that already with the primary swinging around, getting that first goal. Just a couple of sneaky little tricks, and all of a sudden, S.A.D.B.O.I.S is up early. Kbot, what do you think is going through their heads?
Well, I can tell you exactly what's going through their heads. They're just super focused on playing the game right now. Bells had like some piano music on his stream that he was listening to. Vaughn is the only one basically talking and doing the normal captain thing. There is nothing but business going on for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S call. But meanwhile, it is going to be the Bounty Hunters taking the barrier away from Caleb. Snake looking to split the field in half with the wall, but it doesn't work this time around. Caleb finds the energy burst. We'll send it back the other way. The goalies play ping pong for a moment. Now, weird angles here. Can't find the clearing angle, and Snake is still there to stuff it right back. The Bounty Hunters respond in kind.
Caleb is one of the only players that I have seen that can consistently do that thing on the goal line where they are just hitting barrier to wall. Just utter insanity, and almost got away with it one more time there. Finally snuck it through. But speaking of sneaking it through, Bells, these Vice goalies are just let goals slip through so easily. But I guess on both sides, if you have it on both sides, it evens out, right?
Yeah, and this is, I don't know. I mean, like on one hand, right, obviously we're playing right now a very damage-heavy meta, which is somewhat surprising. We're not really looking for knockouts just by knocking them off the side. We're looking for the complete drain onto stagger bars, and these Vices will enable the goalies to get involved with a lot more of that damage, where these Supernovas can eventually get built up to chunk down by so much, but you leave goals slip past you just like that when you don't have your cooldowns up. It's YouAlreadyLose able to find the Thunderstruck on the punish for perhaps a little mispositioning from Goomy, who actually went back up to grab that first orb, and it's the S.A.D.B.O.I.S who will get priority on the first carousel.
And this is, Vodible, correct me if I'm wrong, this is best of 1?
Best of 3. We're playing 3.
Oh, we're
going
the distance. Okay,
we're going a long game.
We're going long ball. That's fine by me. I just wanted to know exactly what kind of impact this carousel is going to have. Obviously, heavy impact going for Caleb. Catalyst on the side of Bells is going to be really interesting, but the speed is going to be nice for Goomy. A Monumentalist is going to be huge for kienoob. There's still a lot that could happen. There's still a lot of counterplay that can be made, especially after these awakenings come online.
Yeah, and, you know, when you go back and look at that carousel, so many denial picks that probably have to come through, right? But look, it doesn't even matter because that's like the third goal they've gotten within the first 15 seconds of a round. Bells is just sitting there, able to punch it right back on this X, and no one can move him. No one can, like, get this bully out of the way.
This is one of the first pieces of advice I ever got in Omega Strikers. Is I was playing Juliet and there was a Kai, and I was like, what do I do against this Kai? And they were like, I think it was Flop or somebody gave me the advice of just sit on him. Just sit on the goalie, make their life ever living misery, and just bully them. Just do not let them breathe. And especially with these Vices, like, yeah, they have some damage, right? But they're still gonna get punched around like a little ragdoll. I mean, especially getting the front of it right there.
Core flip out here. It was Bounty Hunters getting the first goal barrier. I'm now looking for this. But, like, by the way, what does Bells have to be afraid of to KO him? The only thing he's got is, like, the Thunderstruck chain combination because of all of the stuns and whatnot. He's not really afraid of the Imi individually killing him. He's not really afraid of the Asher individually killing him as long as he keeps his distance. And he's just going to sit there in front of the goal line no matter what his stagger bar drops down to. And as part of the reason there why it's enabling so much pressure in the goal box and allowing YouAlreadyLose to get involved on the offensive, dashing in with that Thunderstruck. And again, puts another one on the board here for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. Might be looking for yet another going into the X Maximus. There's the bell ringer. Snake is yoinked off of the pitch into the Bounty Hunter's own goal. And that means this power play opportunity, kienoob not going to have the pressure that he really wants, and it's going to go right dangerously close to that goal barrier. Goomy tries to get involved, but it gets punished by Bells' core flip there. Thunderstruck out. YouAlreadyLose once again looking for this. Vaugh is the one that's low on stagger now, but again, positioning so that he isn't going to get KO'd. Snake looking for the pressure onto Bells here for the high damage composition. Cannot find the KOs. Thunderstruck will connect the barrier, and Bells finds the shot to the top side with the X Maximus.
That was the tech. That was the tech. The X Maximus is a refresh. It's a reset. and you can instantly just strike again and just absolutely crossing up Goomy there with that insane play, knowing exactly when to use it and how to use it. And that, like, Bell's scoring on an X with that kind of place, like, it's just such a Bell's thing to do. And he's going to get the cast last for it. Specialized training is going to go into the hands of Goomy. But overall, this is a really good draft for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. They're taking away the timeless from Ivy, who has to take 1-2 punch.
Yeah, I mean, that one looks fantastic. And look, the Goomy's pickup there with the specialized training really only going to be useful if he can get on the offensive just like that. The Thunderstruck with the Supernova combination will come through to find a KO onto Vaugh. But one goal barrier is down for the Bounty Hunters. Bell's starting to go on the prowl, and he'll find the combination there. Power Chord will be what sends Snake off of the pitch now. Bell's knocked back. Bellringer doesn't connect. Thunderstruck stops things right in front of the goal barrier, allows for the strikes to come through, and Bell's dashes in with the bull rush. This is something, once again, like 5 unanswered goals on the behalf of the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. They are running away with this first game.
All they need to do is just get the core onto the other side of the field, and it seems like the members of Bounty Hunters just cannot clear it, right? Like, the members of S.A.D.B.O.I.S. have done such a good job of, like, defending the goal barriers, keeping things locked down for the most part.
Finally.
Sorry, excuse me for that second, because all of a sudden, as soon as I say that, commentators curse, and that's going to be Snake sneaking that one right by the members of S.A.D.B.O.I.S.
And look, it's another very early goal that comes through when Goomy has a couple of extra cooldowns online. The missile propulsion power core comes in, knocks the core around a little bit, stuns all of the members, and it buys the window for Snake to capitalize. But now, back the other direction, once again, core flip into Supernova, into Bell's, in position to strike it back. What are you gonna do against any of that?
Oh, you really can't do much, especially if you have the Imi and the Asher and they have their cooldowns like not at the ready, right? Like, I think the members of S.A.D.B.O.I.S. can just do so much more with less, right? Like, they have a larger hitboxes, they have more speed with the Rasmus, and because of that, they're able to get more control over the field. They have so much more presence, and they're 1 point away from taking the first game, as these staggers are a little bit low, and Snake has a good opportunity, but kienoob not looking healthy either.
Finally, dash comes through for Snake. kienoob taken up to the top side. Bells finds the barrier. There's the Supernova testing Goomy, but he'll clear it away nonetheless, and Bells will find a KO in the interim. Vaugh is going to come back online in just a moment here, and you can tell YouAlreadyLose waiting for just a moment for that to happen. Now, Thunderstruck into Power Chord. It's going to keep the pressure online for just a little bit more for that last goal barrier to fall, but the pendulum swing from Vaugh will connect, and the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. will take the first game in this best of 3.
What a clean play from S.A.D.B.O.I.S., knowing exactly the win condition that they want to go for, throwing off, I think, the members of Bounty Hunters just doing something completely that is unexpected, right? You would have expected something like the Luna to come out on that kind of map, right? You would have expected Caleb to be more than happy to play the Dubu. But no, they decide to go for this heavy damage comp, and they're going to take it home.
And hey, you do what you got to do in order to make it work here. It is the damage mostly coming online, but not only just the damage, I think, it's also critically KO potential. Because there were, a couple of things that came through when Goomy and Snake each will pick up 1 KO, and there'll actually only be 4 KOs for the side of the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. But by the same thing, I think there's a lot more to be afraid of when you're on the Bounty Hunters in that composition. At least it feels like it to me, right? The largest things that you have to watch out for that the Bounty Hunters will try to use to KO is you getting accidentally positioned between an Asher and a wall, and then she uses an arc beam or a dash or whatever to get you off. Obviously, there's the Supernova, but that's pretty easy to dodge most of the time, whether that's the Supernova Thunderstruck combination or what have you. And then there's also the Cyber Swipe out of the Imi. Maybe a glitch pop, maybe something else, but especially without any awakenings, at its core, there's not a lot to actually find those increased amounts of knockback, actually get those confirms. And so while the damage was certainly there on Demon Days, the KOs just were not there. And I think the Bounty Hunters had to play slightly more afraid. But folks, don't worry, because may I remind you, earlier today in this very tournament, round 5 of Swiss, it was the Bounty Hunters that took the 3-0 in sets over the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. So this has gone back and forth in 2 games tonight. Of course, that first one doesn't count for now. It's all this best of 3. And right now, it's all S.A.D.B.O.I.S.
Right now, it is all S.A.D.B.O.I.S. They made the adjustment, right? They probably took some time and like really just like thought through their strategies and a couple of little changes, and they were able to come through. I think it also probably was a little bit dependent on the map, on the awakenings that came through at the first round, right? Because as soon as you get those first awakenings, that's when you can really start scaling. And we are going to Imy's app, another one that we just saw S.A.D.B.O.I.S play on.
Imy's app comes through again. I am once again expecting to see the Vices here. Rumor on the street puts Vice at pretty high stocks for this one as well. And it looks like actually the S.A.D.B.O.I.S banning away the Rasmus on this map. They don't want to have to put up with it because it appears from the hover that Vaugh might rather fly. We've been seeing this Luna pick up in popularity in a midfield role for the past week or so, and it actually has been proven to be quite a strong pairing, having quite a bit of damage, and then also having that boost in the unpredictability X factor, though not the striker X, just the uncertainty coming through on that Luna.
A little bit of mystery, a little bit of spicy. And that's what we like to see. Interesting that the double Rasmus got banned. Snake is going to be able to go onto that Zentaro, not completely just getting it for free. And Bells is going to go on it as well. They probably like their odds in the Ditto, if I'm being honest, but that's a really interesting start and really good for the members of S.A.D.B.O.I.S.
Deadeye Rapid Fire are the starter awakenings. That has to be the reason why Vaugh picks up the Luna here. That rocket going to do quite a bit of damage in addition to the bomb, the crater, if it comes out.
How is this gold barrier still alive and like living? Okay, finally S.A.D.B.O.I.S' gold barrier falls. The gold gates are down, but that so many very heads up plays, but unfortunately going to be overwhelmed by the level 2 from Bounty Hunters. Overall, I still think that I give this one to Bounty Hunters because I think Snake is going to be a little bit more comfortable on the Zentaro, and I think that the Imy is actually a really good pick here.
Okay, Imy believer over here.
Come on. No, like the glitch pop can actually do a lot of work jumping across the opening in the hole, right? And there's a lot of opportunities to get those cheeky KOs with the glitch pop cyber swipe combo. Overall, I don't have confidence in this composition from S.A.D.B.O.I.S. They showed up last time, but there's just not enough defensive pressure, as you can see right here, as this Imy turret might actually send this one through. Okay, maybe not.
Nope. Doesn't happen this time around. It's a power play opportunity. Bells is looking to try to keep control of the core, but Snake's there with the energy burst. Now Vaugh comes in from the top rope with the boost, setting it down to that bottom corner again. It looks like Vaughn's just positioning. The instinct in you has that he's up there just positioning, making sure he's covering the clear angles, but then he's just going to dive right in on that boost. Well played. That's what we're seeing these Lunas do quite often. And Magic, the other thing here too is I'm scared of what happens once Awakenings start coming online, actually for both these teams. But hold that thought, Gold Barrier down, Snake low on Stagger. The clear still comes through as YouAlreadyLose finds the pass up to Bells. Oni's Blade and Supernova will both be exchanged, and Vaughn's low on Stagger, can't quite join the party. Thunderstruck forward for YouAlreadyLose, gets it into position for Bells, but Vaugh is taken off the map in the interim. Snake and Goomy are both there in the bottom corner to clean up right after the Supernova.
Adding on to your point, right? I think that it's interesting, because there's a Zentaro Ditto, they're going to want the same Awakenings, right? But Vaugh and kienoob are not going to be fighting for the same things, as we see a beautiful combo of 3 abilities just clocking Vaugh, sending him off the map. Then this is going to be a really good power play opportunity.
And YouAlreadyLose taken away from the fight on the top side of the map with the Firewall Sentry blocking him out, like as if he's failing the Kbot. And we are going to see the first Awakenings priority here go over to the Bounty Hunters. Both Zentaros get the first pick, but it's Snake with the first one overall. I don't exactly know what he goes
yeah,
here.
heavy
I guess
impact.
he takes a heavy impact.
Because you can get a lot of multi-hits with the Oni Blade, so its refreshes a little bit better, as well as getting the extra damage on I think, all of your abilities. So, good on that part. Glass Cannon going over to Goomy, so he's going to be able to fly faster, and Timeless Creator going to kienoob. This is very much a one draft for the members of Bounty Hunters. The Energy Awakenings, though, are going to be add a little bit of interesting chaos to the mix, because they're going to be able to evade more.
Will say one of the other things I'm tracking here is stacks on stacks just fell completely through. It will not appear on a future carousel. And it means that Goomy is going to have to go for a different speed awakening beside from both the stacks on stacks and the glass cannon, which was picked up earlier by YouAlreadyLose. But now another KO comes through. Vaughn is going to look for this one here. Did I get that wrong? No, okay, it was the other way around, but nonetheless.
No,
Point stands, just I said the wrong players' names. Looking the crater, now Oni's blade comes out here. Vaughn looks for the dash, doesn't find it. Goomy able to send it away. Snake is on the front lines here, but once again, YouAlreadyLose able to send it back away. Oni's blade now from Snake uses the passive to catch up with the core, and now looking for the snipe into the net, but no, it's Vaughn taken off of the pitch. Thunderstruck out, Bells still will get KO'd. Is the double power play now. kienoob looks forward for Snake, but there's the supernova. Now dashing in, energy burst, will find the barrier. kienoob keeps up the pressure. Cyber swipe still gets sent away. Goomy keeps it up here, but kienoob still has to look for this one. Now dashes forward, supernova won't connect with the core and won't shove anyone back, but YouAlreadyLose low on stagger. Now we'll get KO'd into the firewall sentry. But it's back over to Goomy. The clears come through. There's the dash finally, and Vaughn can't save it in time. The Bounty Hunters starting to come on a roll of their own.
They're starting to come on a roll, but that honestly was not the most clean goal, right? And I don't think it was because S.A.D.B.O.I.S was putting up a ton of resistance. They were doing pretty standard clears and everything. There was just, I think, just a little bit of lack of miscommunication, a lack of synergy that ended up with them not really finding anything. But look at Bells, able to absolutely destroy kienoob's stagger bar. Fortunately, that one's getting sliced right through, and Kbot, this is what we talk about, right? The Vice just sometimes does not have the defensive tools, and if you're playing with these characters that don't have any kind of like strong midfield presence like the Aimi that can really keep things locked down, this is what we're going to be seeing.
And it's why we're seeing a lot of these very quick goals, I think, because again, both of these Vices really want the core to be on the other side of the pitch. It was the same thing with the melee versus ranged goalie debate earlier in beta, but this time it's exacerbated because there are virtually no stopping tools for the Vice. Just has to let the core go by if she doesn't have the speed. Firewall Sentry is out here, but it won't find the goal. Snake will pick up a KO, and now Goomy also gets involved. Now playing patiently, and Snake is able to punish there. It's a 3-0 set for the Bounty Hunters, and they've got one more set to go before they send us to a game 3.
What an utterly disgusting play from Snake.
Oh my.
Slithering through and getting the built different because of it. And look at this. This is a perfect draft here on the side of...
Yeah.
What?
No, there's so much here to pick between the Twin Drive, between the Prize Fighter, Built Different, and Stagger Swagger all online in this carousel. I guess Snake thinks he's got to try to prevent the Twin Drive from getting picked up from anyone else, especially doesn't want it falling down to maybe potentially Goomy, but I don't know.
Oh, that's a really big pickup for Bells, right? The Stagger Swagger means that it's going to be the increased speed after those changes, as well as is going to be able to tank a lot more damage while still feeling at least...
One sec, everyone. Discord happened to crash on my end, so they'll be fixed in just a second. We'll get the casters back in there in just a moment, but hang tight, and hopefully the casters can hear me now. I was trying to emote something, and then, well,
power cord, and that opens up the opportunity for that to come through. Another goal here. Once again, something like 5, 6 unanswered at this point
My
in
Discord
the
crashed, so
favor
they
of the
couldn't
bounty
hear you
hunters.
for a second, but I let them know. Now they can hear you.
Oh, they can hear me. They can hear us now. Sorry about that, folks. A little bit of a hiccup. But we are back. That is a goal for the members of Bounty Hunters. And they are looking to take this one away. And since they got scaling, like, they have just not been able to get stopped. Look at how much damage they're putting on, forcing the evade from Bells. And even if they try and throw out everything, it seems like there's just not a whole lot YouAlreadyLose can do, especially with all of these things crashing. But as I say that, Vaugh looks like he might be able to force an opportunity.
Rocket didn't connect there, and it gets cleared away. Now Kienoob splits the field with the sentry. Bell's in position looking for the goal and will send it back with the first hit of the Oni's blade. Sneaking it right past Goomy within Snake's own ultimate as well. And all of a sudden, maybe there's a bit of life yet for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S, but now barrier instantly falls. There's no one up to capitalize on it. Oni's blade out from Bells again. It goes right back up to Snake. Kienoob was taken down rather low, and now Goomy's in position with the Supernova. There's the energy burst that was forced by YouAlreadyLose, but Snake is there in position with Kienoob, continuing to send things back, and we are back to game point for the Bounty Hunters this time.
Very topsy-turvy kind of play coming out from S.A.D.B.O.I.S, right? Like, they're trying to go all in on these plays and send YouAlreadyLose forward. They get the goal barriers for it, but all of a sudden they just end up not being able to convert. They get damaged, they get a couple of strike wars that don't go their way, and they get crazy saves by Goomy, as well as KOs off the side. YouAlreadyLose is getting taken down, there's no goalie, and that's going to be Bounty Hunters returning the favor for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S, trying to get an upset. This is going to game 3. This is going to be a fierce match. And both of these teams need to make sure that they are on edge and trying to find an advantage during these drafts, because I think that that's really part of the most impactful part.
But, you know, both these teams just kind of picked up some awakenings from the first carousel and continued rolling through the rest of the game. And we saw that in the first game for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S composition. That was a little bit unique. We saw it here for the composition of the Bounty Hunters, who were able to find some of those critical KOs. I mean, the KO difference here, 3 only for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S versus 13 for the side of the Bounty Hunters. They could not quite find the connections, the conversions there, picked up by everybody as they were getting involved. Again, so much damage coming out. When Goomy is able to chip them down, then we can start seeing more of these KOs coming through. Hey, look, maybe I was wrong about the IME in game 1, or maybe something like IME Zap allows the IME to get more KOs. Right. Someone in chat can tell me later. But nonetheless, I mean, impressive stuff from the Bounty Hunters there. And now we've got a score to settle, and I fear after this tournament we are also going to have a score to settle, given by the fact that S.A.D.B.O.I.S are already down 0-1, and so technically now, you know, the Bounty Hunters are on 2-1 versus the S.A.D.B.O.I.S tonight. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to this final game for who comes away with our tournament victory tonight.
Tournament victory, a little bit of prize money, a little sweeten the deal, and for the bragging rights, obviously. What'd you say? Points predictions are coming through. I want to hear everybody's opinion. Who is going to take this one home? At home, you can vote right in the Twitch chat, and I expect all the chatters to come through. Looks like we're about to queue in, and this is Game 3. This is Grand Finals of Primetime Tuesday, number 7, and this is Bounty Hunters versus S.A.D.B.O.I.S to finally determine who really is on top of this game.
At least for now.
At least for now.
There are yet many more weeks of Omega Strikers between both Primetime Tuesday and more. But it's Aten City for our final game. How am I supposed to react to this? I don't know how I'm supposed to react to this.
I don't know. You can
I'm
react
just excited to see Omega Strikers.
Right, yeah, no, it doesn't matter. It's just the stage that we're playing on. That's all it is. We're playing the game. It's gonna happen here, and we're just gonna talk about it. Zentaro, I think, is actually the right ban, though. I think that you don't let Snake back on the Zentaro, especially on this map, which can be very, very good for it. Force them both to go to the Julie, where Bells probably has the advantage in the Ditto.
Yeah. I mean, Snake's a fantastic brawler player in his own right.
Wait.
Right. May I remind you?
Is that YouAlreadyLose on the, or is that Vaughn on the Estelle?
That's Vaughn on the Estelle. Yeah, that's Vaughn on the Estelle. That's YouAlreadyLose on the Vice. He's been hovering the Vice. He was playing that a lot. I think we got a little glitch here on the loading screen or on striker select. But actually, it's the Kai's coming through here. Must not want to play the higher damage and instead opt to try to save this large barrier at all costs. And most likely also has something to do with the starter awakenings, which are quick strikes and heavy impact. With heavy impact up, a little surprised we don't see one Vice, but nonetheless, both goalies opting for the Kai here.
Opting for the Kai, gonna play for that core control, gonna make sure that this barrier does not get taken away too early. Kienoob, though, almost getting taken away very early on. And overall, the main thing we have to be worried about is the fact that these orbs are going to allow these players to keep on fighting. We are going to see a lot of KOs. We're going to see a lot of damage at the end of this game because there's a lot of opportunity. And Kienoob was able to take the first KO.
Going to be all about these timings here, and Vaugh did not have an orb to save himself there. Bell's looking for the dribble, but cannot convert. Now it's the barrage back to the top side. The punch is able to find the barrier. Kienoob tries to keep it alive, but the core will slip past the firewall sentry. Bell's on the dribble. Core goes a little fast out of that core flip empowered strike, but now on the dribble once more. Takes a shot, won't connect. Gigablast tries to come through, looking for the core, but no, now passes back and forth. Cyberswipe comes out, and Kienoob able to win the strike war at the goal line. It's the first goal on the board for Game 3, goes to the Bounty Hunters.
This is looking like an even playing field. This is what I wanted to see. The back and forth volleys, the ups and downs, the potential KOs, the damage coming through on either side, and the goalies having to play for their lives. Both barriers are down now, and the core flip is up for two of these members on Bounty Hunters, so they have the opportunity to stall this. Kbot, are they going to do it?
Doesn't look like it there. Goomy didn't have any cooldowns online and was met with the scoring prowess of Bells, who had the fiery flurry online when it mattered most, and that puts the goal back. It was looking so good there, and look, even Goomy walking forward, using the energy burst, getting that core out of there, trying to make the hold against the power play, but doesn't find the conversion this time. Now Bells dashing up once again, looking for the stray punch towards that goal barrier, but can't find it here, and Vaughn down to low stagger once more. Has to be playing pretty careful now. Rosewarp, Gigablast, neither will really do what they were intending. Crystallized Thorns out once more here, and we're back to neutral, but with the orbs coming back online, everyone's going to be back up, and we'll see what happens. Fire Flurry out of Bells here, looking for the bottom. There's the core flip out of YouAlreadyLose. Bells couldn't connect with it there. This one stalls out about the midfield line. Snake cracked. Can't quite find the shot he's looking for. So is Bells, though, on the dribble. There's the cyber swipe coming in from Kienoob, and he can't follow it up. Gigablast out, looking for it once more, but finally Snake finds the fiery flurry with the KO. Barrage out of both goalies here. This could be the opportunity they're looking for. Vaughn looking for the dribble down to the bottom side, but Kienoob interrupts it, and that doesn't matter. He's able to snipe it back to the net.
Snipe it, he does. That's the most unfortunate thing with Glitch Pop, is sometimes you get it kind of where you want it, but it can bounce any which way, and especially these crazy goal barriers on Otten City can bounce it in a way that you're really not expecting. They've been doing such a good job at interrupting Bells' combos, though, and that's, I think, is going to be the key for Bounty Hunters. If they can maintain that, they can probably keep this advantage alive.
Bells had one stagger bar remaining, and barely was able to survive. Now is finally cracked. Snake is going to use the core flip and dash right through, securing this barrier. Kienoob's cyber swipe doesn't quite come out in time, and now it slips past Goomy in the barrage animation. The S.A.D.B.O.I.S are going to come away with the first set and get priority on this Awakenings carousel, but man, so much there. You think one thing goes a slightly different way. Oh no, and now it's Caleb rewarded with the signature Primetime here. The namesake of the tournament picks it up, and it might be the difference maker in this Game 3.
You know what else I think is interesting that we didn't get to talk about? The gear that these players took. YouAlreadyLose took the momentum boots, whereas Goomy took the eject button. And the and the 2 forwards on Bounty Hunters took mag souls, while the 2 forwards on S.A.D.B.O.I.S took slick kicks, and that's why you see them dribbling a lot more. That's why you see them, when they get control of the core, they're able to keep it up. And I think that, of course, it's going to be Bells, who was really the originator of the crossover playstyle, and definitely use that to its fullest effect in the beta, going to be comfortable on these slick kicks. And I think that's going to make a very interesting difference on an open map like Aten City.
We will see if it does, because, as you mentioned, the Bells scoring and the Bells dribbling will always come through. Now looks for the KO onto Goomy, who's low on stagger, knocked back by the crystallized thorns and knocked out of the play. Everyone gets involved for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. It's 4 straight goals for them.
4 straight goals, as well as Bells picking up the built different on the last carousel, I think is a really big thing to talk about, and denying it from the other Juliet. That size is going to make sure that he can catch this core at a much more consistent rate, and slipping it right through Goomy and kienoob. A beautiful pass from Vaugh, and not even needing any of the abilities, just kicking it into the goal, good old-fashioned way.
Here's the part where that momentum starts swinging over to the S.A.D.B.O.I.S magic. You mentioned Bells with that increased size, able to get so many more strike war victories there on the front lines. And now, looking for one more, looking for priority on the next carousel as well. But hold that thought, Firewall Sentry, able to find the goal barrier. Snake is in position, but now low on stagger, won't have many options. Looking for it, but no, is denied thanks to Vaughn's energy burst, used for the sole purpose of clearing Snake out of the way. There's Bells on the score, and it is 6 straight for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. Bells is going to get MVP here heading into this next carousel, because those games, or that set was so fast. And now is going to look for something like Stagger Swagger, Temple Swing, even has the stacks here as well, which is likely what he's going to go for, giving that extra speed, making it so much more easy. Actually, we'll opt to deny the orb replicator, I suppose. Thought that was the better option. And probably playing the long game, which, you know what, is fair.
Yeah, no, completely respectable, right? You have every opportunity to make sure that your opponents are nerfed into the ground. You got to make sure that it happens. You got to keep them down and out. Do not give them any room for counterplay. True MOBA kind of play style, kind of thinking, and I really respect it. And because, I mean, really, if you're forced at stake to just absolutely burn and evade super early, land, stay staggered, and then kill them anyways, that's all you need to do, is just keep them down.
Fun as well, by the way, picking up the twin drive there. We'll have an extra Rose Warp cooldown online, and could attempt to stuff some away, though haven't seen many of those come online. It's been all Bells, who once again is on another dribbling play. Goomy's already used the barrage, but it'll be enough to clear this time around. Now YouAlreadyLose, back up to Bells, has the energy burst, will bait out the barrage with the strike, core flip into top corner, right behind Goomy's back. 7 straight for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S.
I know that he's playing against Bells right now, but I really feel like Goomy has not been having the most clean barrages, not been having the most clean clears, and the goal barrier going down super early there as well, and burning that barrage there. Now the Giga Blast comes out. What cooldown does he even have left? He's got the Q, but Bells is trying to run him down.
Burst.
Oh!
Yep. Had to use the energy burst there. Able to clear it out of the fiery flurry. Snake, though, cannot convert to the goal barrier. Rose Warp back. Vaugh tries to keep the pressure. Piercing shot now down to the bottom corner, but Bells is not there. Now we'll pick it up and we'll send it back. It is match point for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S.
S.A.D.B.O.I.S trying to take home their 7th Primetime Tuesdays, and they are looking to do it in clean fashion. They're looking to do it as the assured victor of this matchup, of this newfound rivalry. And they really want to take this home right now without giving them any opportunities. They look so good, Kbot.
Fire Flurry out. Energy Burst here. Snake looking for it. Will only find the KO. Now looking for the pass down to kienoob, but there's enough speed on the side of the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. Looking to dig it out of this corner again, and now finally the shot will come through. It snaps the 8-goal drought for the Bounty Hunters. And they have, we talk about mountains and molehills to climb, and this sure is one of them here for the Bounty Hunters. Got to find another way to do that 2 more times in this set alone, and then try to convert on the Awakenings carousel.
and then try and convert. Indeed, it is going to take everything from this team to make sure that they can not only deny S.A.D.B.O.I.S any opportunity to even try and score this goal, but make sure that they're opening them up for one of their own. Look at Bells, already with the core flip, already using that crossover. Would try and send that through, but the evades come through for Goomy. Not gonna find it. Bells the punch, you already lose! Deciding to step up and barrage it forward, and that is going to be S.A.D.B.O.I.S with the stellar play of Caleb YAL with the MVP. That's going to be the victory for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. Not so sad, I'm sure, after winning that one.
It's probably business as usual. It's like, oh yeah, that was a game, wasn't it? Still got the piano music playing. There's Bells on his stream right now, just dribbling into no end. That's 7 goals for the Juliet forward of the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. And a comparatively lower damage match, comparatively equal in KOs, but it all came down to a little bit of extra core control. It all came down to procuring Bells the rock. And the second that he picks up Built Different with a size increase, it's lights out for this guy who can basically now do whatever he wants to in the goal. And there's not much that the Kai can do to send him away, right? Maybe he's got a Giga Blast up every once in a while and hope that connects. Or maybe he's got an energy burst like he did in some cases, but Goomy could not find an answer to get this Bells guy out of here. And the bell tolled this time around. S.A.D.B.O.I.S will take it.
Really, like, I cannot underestimate YouAlreadyLose's, like, stellar goalie play that we saw both in semifinals and in this set. Nobody can dig it out of the goal like he can. This man is an ice cream scooper, and he is practiced with that tool. He can just, like, any goal that you think is going to just, oh, it's a surefire going in. No, he's going to be bouncing it. He's going to be clearing that, like, in the craziest angle off the sides. And then he knows when to step up as well, right? And that's something that we saw Vaugh doing in NASL, using that Dubu to skate forward and put on that pressure. It's just something that these high peak level players will do at the perfect time because they know how powerful it can be. And that is the level that we're playing at. That is the level that S.A.D.B.O.I.S has shown today.
And folks, get ready for more of the same, because that was only the first community-run tournament on Central servers. What more is going to happen here? How many more times are the S.A.D.B.O.I.S and the Bounty Hunters going to meet against one another in finals? And how many more times will it take before the Bounty Hunters can find a definitive answer, a definitive crack in the armor? Because they've taken games, they've taken blood, but they haven't been able to clutch it out oftentimes when it really matters most in some of these high-level competitive settings. And it'll only get more and more exciting to see what happens from here. It is looking magic, like another beautiful couple months of Omega Strikers, thanks in large part to the 6 players that we just watched.
I agree wholeheartedly, right? There's a little bit of community discussions about, well, was the game going to die? Like, what's the future going to be looking like? At least for the immediate future, it's looking quite bright. It's looking very exciting. And again, it's kind of riding on the shoulders of the patches and everything of that nature. But overall, really, I don't think that there's anything stopping us.
Well, we'll see what ends up happening, of course. And I'm sure what ends up happening is that Vaugh will be able to tell us quite a bit more. He's going to sign off his own tournament tonight. Magic, any closing remarks, last words?
Not from me, other than Philly Land is going to be August 19th at localhost Philly on Twitter if you want to follow for updates and other promotional things. But you can find all the information there. It's going to be a great time. I know there's actually a couple players who we just watched that are trying to attend, that want to attend. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be another exciting event coming up. That's, again, something exciting to look forward to in the future.
Should be a real good time, and so much more coming your way. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll send it over to the man himself in just a moment, but one more congratulations are in order for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. 7 straight Primetime Tuesday tournaments in a row. That is right, folks. That is all 7 Primetime Tuesday tournaments in a row, beating the so-called King of the West himself in the process. Fantastic stuff tonight from everybody. And Vaugh, we'll send it over to you for some closing remarks.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate that. Hopefully you all can hear me loud and clear as I deafen in the Discord for a moment so that we can get through a lengthy closing process for tonight's stream. Appreciate everyone who's been tuning into these matches. We actually have a couple of these going all the way into August 22nd for Primetime Tuesdays. We got some extra funding from Odyssey Interactive, so big shout out to those lovely folks there. It's not going anywhere for Primetime Tuesdays, at least for a couple more of these, so definitely make sure that you keep signing up, keep tuning in. Start.gg/VOD. We'll get that next sign up link out pretty shortly. Exclamation point Discord as well if you want to join the community and keep up with the action there. That's one of the few shout outs we have. And again, shout out to S.A.D.B.O.I.S or Trio Abusers, as people might have known them from Primetime Tuesdays. Specifically, S.A.D.B.O.I.S was their original tag. Won it here, lost for the first time in Swiss since the first event. So they were able to pull it out in the end. Big shout out to them, but also to Bounty Hunters, who took it all the way to that third game. Okay, now we got some announcements that we have to go through here real quick. The first one, exclamation point Hot Pockets, because we talked about it a little bit earlier, but I have potential to be a brand ambassador for Hot Pockets, which also means I can get paid to run more events and also pay people to help run these events. So if you want to see that happen in Rocket League, in Omega Strikers, definitely recommend voting. I don't think it worked. I didn't type Hot Pockets correctly. That's why. There we go. We're still getting used to that. There we go. 1 vote per day at that link. There's a great community of people that are also in the finalists running for the 1-20 contest. So if you don't want to vote for me, vote for one of them. Spread your vote as willingly as you can, but that'd be greatly appreciated. First thing as well, if you are in EU and you're up for whatever reason, sign up for Twin Drive Thursday. That is happening in 2 days' time. As you can see here, 6 p.m. CEST every single Thursday. Start.gg/Twin Drive. Again, same prize pool, same emotes that are available there. Definitely recommend checking that out. That is at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be streaming that if you want to see what's happening there. Thank you, Reed, for the exclamation point Twin Drive there, too. Join the Discord to learn a bit more about that. And now for some more information. We saw Big Fish Friday happen last Friday. Well, it's coming back this Friday with Central servers. It's going to be a good time. Still more West-centric for a West-friendly time, as those times will be announced. But you definitely can check that out this Friday if you want to see another tournament that is going on. Start.gg/BigFishFriday. Definitely recommend signing up for that. We don't have a Big Fish command. We should add one, Reed, but it's okay. We're doing things on the fly. Speaking of things that are flying in from the community, Launchpad is starting this weekend, and I got a little bit of some words from Achi. Registration closes Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Day 1 of Swiss starts Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Day 2 qualifiers start Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Teams that play tonight that are invited, the S.A.D.B.O.I.S and also Bounty Hunters, so you'll see them in basically what is NASL Season 2. And the invited liftoff teams are Winterfall, which is aka Not Quest Esports. So if you want to see those teams, definitely recommend checking that out at twitch.tv/BestieInSlot. Let me link that StartGG as well if you are wanting to sign up for that too. You can find all the information there. Start.gg/pad. I love it. I'm surprised that wasn't taken as well. I think that is all the shoutouts that we have for now on this stream. But thank you again, everyone who's been tuning in, who's been subscribing, who's been supporting, and doing everything they can to make these events a possibility. Would not be able to do this without the lovely production crew in the background. Saya and Kuyachi with seeding, of course. Reed, that's been helping a lot with the admin back end of things, too. Max Formal, Squid, Kbot, and Magic 8 Ball, and Seymour helping with casting today. And of course, the lovely folks that were on the B stream, Beepo running most of that. I don't have all the names here real quick for the people that were on it, but you check out the Striker Central stream and see exactly how some of those matches went down. But it was a great time to see how things were going. And we had Enoch, Kbot, Slop, Yumi, and 3Z Breezy on that stream with Surplus himself. So those are all the people who have made today a possibility. I know it's a bit lengthy of a closeout, but just want to give you all of our gratitude, all of our thanks, and hopefully in the future, we applied for Twitch Partner. Maybe we'll get it. Maybe we'll be able to run some events, get some sponsors in here too, and we'll see you on the flip side at the twitch.tv/Vodible for the Twin Drive Thursday, 12 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. CEST stream. That's all we have for now. Thank you for watching. Thank you for playing. Keep striking, everyone. See you next time.